With the jump from pilot to show, a lot changed for Hazbin Hotel. While most of it was for the better, one common yet controversial complaint is that the art style has become bland. And yeah, Hazbin's art has lost what sets it apart to the point of being generic. And that's good.
Let me explain.
When looking back at the pilot, you'll immediately notice some differences. For example, someone decided that the colors should range from off-white to light grey, but more importantly, it is incredibly bouncy. Look at how the characters are moving, they squish and stretch, go off-model, bend in ways humans are incapable of. This animation style, called rubber hose, was the American norm in the 1920s up to mid-30s, back when animation was a brand new phenomenon. It allowed characters to move in extremely expressive ways, but ultimately fell out of fashion when Walt Disney pushed for a more realistic style. There has been somewhat of a revival since the 2010s, and it's easy to get why. It can look a bit weird, but it's also expressive, charming, and just looks friendly, which makes it a perfect fit for Charlie, who herself is a bit weird, but also expressive, charming, and friendly. Her personality extensively shapes the overall tone of the pilot, making this choice of art style a great decision. But they didn't just look at an old animation type and decided to yoink it, instead using it as a baseline to build upon with a lot of new interesting takes. Facial expressions as well as body language can vary wildly between fairly reserved and extremely over-exaggerated. It uses a lot of smear frames and has quick reaction shot types of images. But it doesn't even restrict itself to this one style. You want memes, references, funny images. Sure, they can look wildly different than everything else, being funny is reason enough. You want pop-up book type visuals to go along with the introduction of a character. Okay, why not? You want multiple special visuals for Alistair that don't even match each other. Looks cool, worth it. This captures how the pilot utilizes its visuals extremely well. Expressiveness over everything else. Portraying an emotion or even a joke in a fitting way is valued more than cohesion. As long as it fits the scene, it doesn't have to fit anything else, and as weird as this sounds, it works surprisingly well. Yes, it can be confusing to suddenly see two completely different art styles on screen at the same time, but using them opens up a lot of opportunities. The normal style looks almost chibi-esque, with a lot of round shapes and big eyes as well as heads, which makes the humanoid characters seem kind of adorable. However, by switching to silhouettes with bright eyes, they seem more demonic and dangerous. This is especially important for Alistair, as he is supposed to be at least a little scary, which is why we not only get multiple uncanny styles in the info dump about his character, but he also has a glitchy effect while threatening veggies. This approach of expressiveness over everything else is present in a plethora of the pilot's stylistic choices, in order to fittingly convey emotions as well as punchlines. For example, did you realize that in the scene I was just talking about, Veggie manages to look a lot more threatening because the way her eye is drawn has completely changed? Not only does the shape of her eyelash look drastically different, she also gets more and more cracks in her iris. But we don't even have to look at any specific scene to see this approach in action. The baseline rubber hose style is weird but very expressive. It includes an extreme range in body language and facial expressions, up to severe over-exaggeration. Smear frames are unrealistic but convey movement in, once again, an over-exaggerated manner. I could name examples for hours, but I don't want you to click off this video without even leaving a like or subscribing. This, along with the heavy use of "hey, come back, no clicking off," good, along with the heavy use of sound effects, is a big part of why this pilot is so energetic and full of life. I genuinely adore all of these weird decisions. They are not only unique, they are uniquely amazing, and goddammit, I'm so glad that not a single one of them is present in the show. They would ruin everything. There's a reason I used the word weird 5 times in this video already. While I love these stylistic choices, they are in fact kind of silly. The way everyone moves, the extreme facial expressions and body language, and especially the different art styles that exist for close to no reason, they aren't human. They don't even make sense in universe. No, it is cartoon logic. The whole reason I wrote the script is because in Pink King's video about this exact topic, he compared it to Looney Tunes, a sentiment that I even saw in my own comment section. And serious question, do you want a show about trigger warning, rape, and genocide? 2 words so dark that I just felt the need to give y'all a trigger warning before saying them. To look like Looney Tunes? This isn't a problem in the pilot because it is itself kind of silly. There's a reason the 2 main songs are hyperpop and a parody of the hyperpop song. I mean, 90% of what Alistair did was make radio-themed jokes. The main style works well for comedy, yet they literally had to switch it out for another one whenever danger was more than a punchline. Of course, there are serious moments which do use the normal style, but they never go beyond making us feel bad for Charlie. It is surprisingly easy to make us empathize for characters, make them cute, give them big eyes. Most of the time that's enough. Complex emotions, on the other hand, those which stem from grief, abuse, addiction, if these end up feeling shallow, it can not only hurt the story, but those who had to live through them. And the less human-like a character is, the harder it gets to convincingly portray how they experience and suffer from these emotions. A good example on how to deal with this problem are Disney movies. They designed every animal character to incorporate a lot of human traits. This was done mostly via the eyes, but mannerisms and body language play a big role as well. We know that what we are looking at is an animal, but emotionally, we simply think of it as a person. Yet if we look at the remakes, which didn't make any of these alterations, you can't fool me. You just dubbed over the video you took at a safari. That's not a person. There's a reason this is the world's most common hear me out, while this is just bestiality. The further a character gets from humanity, the harder it is to see human emotions in them. While Disney's animal characters mostly look like animals, they feel very human, while Hazbin's characters look fairly human, but they don't always feel like it. The constant over-exaggeration, style switching, weird shots, movements, expressions, smears, all of them combined, make the pilot feel more like a wacky cartoon, instead of a deeper emotional story. This is why the show itself has and needs a style that's a lot more grounded. The story, characters, designs, they all stay delightfully weird, yet the way everyone moves, it's normal, it's realistic, it is simply human. While over-exaggerated facial expressions definitely still exist, they are tuned down to a level that isn't distracting. While I actively think about the art style while watching the pilot, after all, it is important for some jokes and sometimes even the joke in itself. The show's art style bridges the gap between the outlandish world of Hazbin Hotel and the one we live in ourselves. It is the first and a fundamental step into our immersion. I love the pilot's art style. It is unique, it's endearing, and most importantly, it's really funny, but while it excels at making us laugh, it would fall flat in some of the show's most important and tragic moments. I'm glad we got to see it for as long as we did, but it always had a limited lifespan. Or to sum up everything I've said so far, there's a reason this is Teen Titans, and this is Teen Titans Go. Well, this video took a while. I love to create these baby video essays, but they do take a lot longer to create than theories or news, which means your support is twice as important. So, if you made it this far, please leave a like and subscribe.